Pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CJ Howard Sports Talk Show, episode number 18. I am CJ Howard, live from my apartment in Hazard, Kentucky, on this snowy, cold evening here as we get you ready for another episode of the CJ Howard Show. You can watch us live. Well, first of all, I want to thank Thomas Ramey, our new opening. If you guys just saw that, he did that. And I want to thank Thomas very, very much for doing that. Hopefully, I'm going to get, maybe if he's got some more time, I would like to get a couple more done like that. And Thomas, thank you so very much. Of course, the D&D Sports Network, you can watch the CJ Howard Show right now if you're over there on the D&D Sports Network. You can also watch it on my sports page, the CJ Howard Talk Sports page. Watch it on my Facebook too, and you can go to YouTube and watch it there as well. You can give us a call, 1-582-849-9320. Guys, got any comments? Leave them in the comment box down below. Before I get to my guest list, I want to jump into something very important and very serious. And yesterday day, you all heard that Coach Philip Haywood of the Belfry Pirates was in a serious car accident. We're not going to give you any. There's been some stuff on Facebook posted, I think, by his daughter. We're not going to say what was wrong with him. It is very serious, folks, and he does need your prayers. Coach Haywood yesterday was in a car accident. Of course, a lot of you know that. He was flown to UK hospital where he is in serious condition right now. So if you've got any prayer warriors out there, please get them out there and get the prayers going for Coach Haywood. Get him through this. You remember how hard it was when we lost Coach Matney back about 4 years ago. Well, this would be even more devastating if something was to happen to Coach Haywood, and we can't let that happen. So the prayer warriors need to get out there and start praying for him. Also, I've got my ex-wife's nephew, Robert Garland. He's going through some sickness right now. They've been in the hospital. He's back home now. I want you to pray for him. He's been having a tough time. He needs your prayers, and he needs your thoughts as well. And also the people in L.A. A lot of fire still going on. People lost their homes, their stuff, material stuff. They lost everything. Please, let's pray for them as well. I want to get them jumped out there too, because I want to get that out there before we start the show, because these are very important. These are very important prayers, and if you guys just go ahead and do that for me, I'd appreciate that very much. Also, we lost a legend this week in baseball, and Bob Uecker. He passed away Thursday. Of course, you know Bob Uecker from the commercials and major league movies that he made, and as many other things he did. He was the voice for the Milwaukee Brewers forever. So he will be missed as well. Let's go ahead and give you the guest list for tonight. We've got a good guest list. We're going to be joined by Keith Baker, the Letcher Central Cougar Lady Cougar basketball coach. He's going to join us in just a second. He's already down there, and I'm going to get to him. Kenny G is going to join us at 8:30 from the 12th Region Sports Network. We're going to talk about the 12th Region. We got Coach Alan Foulhouse with us at 9 o'clock from Madison Central. And then we're going to have a little bit of a special treat for you. Armando could not be with me for the next 2 weeks, so I'm going to have a different guest on in my 9:30 slot. So this week, I got Jamie Hughes from Hometown Sports. He also helps with the Killer Bee over there in Knott County. He's going to jump in there, and we're going to talk some sports with him at 9:30. And my co-host, Sanders Starter, he's with me. We'll get back to him in just a moment. But we're going to go ahead and get Coach Baker in here. I know he's a busy man. I want to really appreciate him taking time out to come spend it with me. And, Coach, it's great to have you with us. And how are things in Letcher County? How much snow did you get? And we'll go from there.
Well, I just got back from practice about an hour ago, and the roads are kind of covered, especially the off roads. The main road was pretty good, but yeah, it's snowing a little bit here. Of course, I think we're going to have to get used to that.
I think we are. Yeah, we can't catch a break though, Coach, because it seems like every time we think we're gaining a foot, we lose a mile.
Definitely.
January's been a doozy so far.
And we're not done. Well, if you know, they're even predict the weatherman's saying we may get a major snowstorm in the end of the month that may even. He said it may. They're looking at it. It could have devastating snows with it. So yeah, we hopefully that will just go somewhere else.
And it's causing coach like you and all other coaches to have to scramble to, redo the schedule and stuff. It's really tough on you guys.
Yeah, it's hard now. You miss games now. It's hard to get a spot to make them up. Especially you've got teams with all A going on and the 2A going on and those kind of things, and it's just hard to find a day. Especially if you got a girls' game and trying to find and you lose a home game, you're trying to make a day up home game. You have to figure out if the boys are playing that night and those kind of things. Makes it difficult.
I noticed Coach Hoskins said this last week, and we talked about it again last night going over to Knox County. Our February schedule is brutal because we had to move so many games. There's nights we're going to be playing 4 nights, and there ain't nothing we do about that because you have to get the games in. There is a game or two we couldn't get in, but the majority of the makeup, and you know what? We're not done because there's going to be more cancellations.
Oh,
definitely with this snow. Well,
no doubt.
We're going to get anything in tomorrow night or Tuesday.
Huh? Yeah, tomorrow probably.
Yeah. So we're looking. We're looking at and then with the weather going down the road, it's not. And it has to be not aggravating, but it has to be really concerning for you coaches because how prepared is your team going to be as we get closer to tournament time? We're 5 weeks away from the tournament. And, this year, it's probably the hardest thing I've seen for these coaches and players because you can't keep a rhythm. And it's just aggravation, I would guess. Ain't it, Coach?
It's definitely that way. And my team has experienced that the last couple of weeks because we have like just for instance tonight. We're supposed to play tomorrow, so you're not going to have a conditioning practice because you want their legs there tomorrow. Well, if it gets canceled tomorrow, you've missed the conditioning today, and it just say you play on Wednesday. If you on Tuesday you're not wanting to condition real hard and those kind of things, because you got a game on Wednesday and then you lose 4 days of conditioning, and plus you might not get in the gym tomorrow. Who knows? It's
I noticed you've got I'm sorry, Coach. I noticed you've got like 4 games scheduled for this week, starting tomorrow night through Saturday.
Yeah, we do. And those kind of things. And the last 2 weeks, it's kind of been that way for us. We've had supposed to play teams, and that we've had to move games because of cancellation or because of they had to move the 2A. We were supposed to play Perry Central, and they had to move the 2A, so we had to completely reschedule that game. And, kids get out of a rhythm, and kids get tired of practicing. They do. Teenage kids, girls especially, they just get tired of practicing.
And sometimes you coaches have to schedule games just to play, just not to practice. That sounds like weird, but you schedule a team that I'm no disrespect to any team, but you schedule a team you can beat, but you're just getting the workout in. So you can get up and down the floor, you can be banged around a little bit. Then if you got an important game, that gets you ready for that game. You know what I'm talking about there, Coach?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then, I guess sometimes scores also get out of hand because you want your kids to run up down the floor and play, and those kind of things. I've been seeing, a lot of scores kind of like questionable, kind of like, why is it this much out of one way or the other, I've never been a coach that wanted to do that, but it's hard to tell kids not to score and run up and down the floor also,
And you coaches, what you're doing to make your team better. So that's what's important. Coach, we talk about all the time how this is very important coming down the stretch run. You were 5 weeks away. It's hard. I can ask you right now, Coach, where do you think your team's at? gonna be hard. You're gonna be hard to give me an answer because considering you ain't played a whole lot and your record's really good, you still don't know what they can do. I mean, honestly, because you really haven't been able to play a lot.
No, it's been like a start and stop situation, and it's hard to judge your team, and like I said, you're not getting consistency in play and consistency in practice either. And kids need consistency at every level, every turnaround. You got to have consistency, or they don't get better at all.
You have a really tough schedule this week. I'm hoping you can get some of them games in. I know you got supposed to have Knott County tomorrow night. Probably will not have to reschedule that one. Probably. It just depends on the road conditions.
Yeah, it depends on the road. I hope we don't have to, because I don't know where we're going to put it at. But
turn right around.
It depends. Our hill gets like Letcher Central for our hill gets real bad. We got a north curve. We call it the curve there, and it's real bad. No matter how much we scrape it and how much we salt it, it never gets sun. And it was still, before this snow, it was still ice there from the last one.
Wow.
And
that will make it rough then.
It makes it rough, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got on Thursday, you've got Johnson Central. Mm-hmm. They're really good. They're top ranked team in the 15th region.
Yeah, they are, and they're very good. Johnson Central's tough, Knott County's tough. Yeah, every game this week's real tough.
Yeah.
But what I was going to get my point here was your district games, you have to schedule it. If you have to schedule a non-district game and cancel it to get your district game in, you have to do that. I've seen coaches do that a lot too, because those district games, you don't get them in, then you're going to be penalized. That's going to hurt you in the seeding, and that's why. And then you lose a game because you had to take that game away to play that one. So,
and
you topped the week off. I'm sorry, you topped the week off with Perry Central. So Knott Central, Perry Central, Johnson Central. All really good teams.
Really good teams. Yeah, it's a brutal schedule. Ours usually always we always play best schedule we can play. Always, and there's no cupcakes this week, so to speak.
I've got a very important question. I'm going to ask you a little bit, but let's talk a little bit about your team. You got three seniors, or four. Sorry, four. They've been with you for a long time. They've been playing with you since you started coaching. Tell me their progress, and then tell me about your younger kids, because you have a ton of young kids, 7th, 8th graders, freshmen. Mm-hmm. So you're depending on young youth to get you by. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, my seniors, but even though we have 4, we have 2 with probably, Paige Dameron and Kara Holcomb has the most experience, and the other 2 really, CJ, one thing about it, when we were really, really good and was winning regional titles, we were doing that with basically sophomores and down.
Yeah,
and we were young and good that long. It's kind of held back these other girls getting the experience, and now they've been kind of thrown to the wolves. And I've got a couple seniors that really don't have, other than JV, don't have the varsity experience. And our younger kids really don't have that much varsity experience. But I got a good group of girls. They work tremendously hard. They listen well, and I got a good young crew coming behind them that's real skilled, and so you try to blend them together with the leadership and the toughness and those kind of things, and try to make your team better at the end.
You don't know how many times I've heard coaches say what you just said about when you get to a year, you get some seniors, they don't have a lot of experience because they had kids that had them that were better. And I hate to say the word, they were better than they were, but now they're getting their opportunity to play. They're actually doing pretty well. So they're getting the opportunity to be out there on the floor. Because, I talk about this region, and watch Prairie not play last night. I'm sitting there watching. Prairie's improved a lot. Mm-hmm. Knott's pretty good. We saw Hazard take Knott to the limit the other night in the All-A. the tournament's at Hazard. This is going to, people's been going, nah, this is going to be a weak tournament. I think it's going to be a strong girls tournament, especially being Memorial Gym. A lot of tradition in there, and you get a big crowd in there, and it's loud, and the intensity. Oh, I think it's going to be a heck of a girls tournament.
Yeah, I thought, Knott's probably the best right now, and they can continue to be. And they have probably the region's best player, and they've got a good surrounding cast. And they're probably the team to beat as of right now. But there's probably about 10 of us underneath them that on a given night probably could beat them if they had a bad night. And and out of those 9 or 10 other teams, you could throw us in a hat and not know which one you're going to pull out.
Yeah.
And that makes for a good tournament when you got that.
Yeah, it does. Your record's 11-5. That's not bad considering you've got.
It's not. We graduated 32 points and 20 rebounds a game and 2 seniors. Last year, and that's hard to replace, especially when all your offense went through them.
And then, Coach, looking at your record, you are your 3 of your 5 losses was a combined 19 points, which is not bad. 2 of those losses just by 4 points each. So they've been right in some of the games, and
they have.
So that's really that will help your team down the road.
Having JBS back in the district, how's that been? That's had to be a little bit of fun too, along with Jenkins, both them returning, makes your district a little bit different.
Yeah, it's back to a 5-team district, so and it's good and competitive, and that's we're getting to play a little bit, and they're playing, and and they've all Cordia's got a real young team, and they're improving every game, and they play hard, and June Buchanan's got a little girl that can shoot threes out, lights out on
a 7th grader.
Yeah, it's just a 7th grader. She is, and she can flat out shoot it. And Jenkins is improving every game, and those teams that those teams on a given night probably could play with anybody.
Yeah. Coach, a couple more questions. I'll let you go. As we get closer to the tournament, what are some of the goals that you want to achieve? I know you want the weather to be better. That's number 1 goal. But what are you looking for in the final 5 weeks to get you ready for the tournament?
Well, we got to improve our strength and our ball handling. Basically coming back this year, I knew that we're playing point. In high school basketball, you can take a point guard, a real good point guard, a real good post player, and a real good shooter, 3, and win a lot of basketball games. And, we're kind of playing I knew this year we would be playing point guard, so to speak, by committee, and that's kind of hurt us. And we're trying to find our way on how to play without an actual point guard. And, some games we play good and some games we throw it all over the house. And, I guess that's a learning process that, we got to improve on turnovers. We got to improve on being stronger with the basketball and taking care of the basketball. And we got to improve on our shooting. Some nights we're shooting 50%, and against Betsy Lane, we were 15 for 62. You ain't going to beat nobody being 15 for 62. So we got to improve our shooting and just taking care of basketball, and our defense has been there. I mean, basically we've been holding teams underneath what their average are. But, if you don't shoot it well, you're not going to score as many points as needed also.
You got any more questions you want to ask Coach? Well, I noticed his free throw. You need to improve. I hope your team
definitely
improves on that too. Cause I saw that. Because that can be critical in close games.
Definitely.
I wish you the best.
I know you're proud. I know you're proud of your team, but you got to be proud of one of your best players ever. And now she's becoming one of the. I think she's going to become one of the best coaches in this region and in the state. And your sidekick and Coach Lowe. Talk about her progress and where she's come from and how much you guys miss her and what she meant to Letcher Central when she left, because Prairie Central got a diamond in the rough when she left.
They did. Kellis has strived to be a head coach ever since she's went to college. That's the goal she wanted to set. She set for herself, and she became that. And she was ready to be a head coach. She had served her time as an assistant coach and wanted to be a head coach. So, it was time, and Prairie Central was a good fit for her. They were looking for a good young coach that would, be there in that program and stay with it. Some of the coaches, and I'm not saying this, that some of the programs that if you have coaches, you go through a lot of coaches. No matter how good the coaches are, your program don't benefit from cycling through coaches. Like every other year or every year, it just hurts program. And Kelly knows basketball, and she'll work them hard, and they'll be successful. And she's got a good group with her. Her group plays hard, and her group wants to win, and they're wanting to listen to her and getting better.
How will that feel? Was it Wednesday night when you play, or Thursday night when you play them? How will it feel to have your protege sitting over there when you're used to her being sitting beside you for the longest time?
Well, I'm sure she'll know what I'm thinking, and I'll know what she's thinking. So, those kind of things. As a coach, I was assistant coach under Dickey for a long time, and that's what I told Kelly. You have to take what you learn and develop your own style. You don't don't go to Prairie Central and play Keith Baker basketball. You don't do that. You've got to develop, take what you've learned and develop your own style and make it yours. And that's what you got to do as a head coach. And, I knew that when I come to Letcher Central, or when I took over for Dickey, that, I was going to do my, have my own style in the way we play. And, you got to do that. And and another thing, you got to have a style that fits your kids too. And see, that's another thing that we've been able to play a style for the last 7 seasons I've been coaching. We've had to switch it completely now.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
I think I remember back at the media days, you was talking about your team and not you're going to be more guard,
Yeah, we're small. Yeah, we're smaller. We don't really, have our post presence for the last 7 years has been real good. And, we got a good post player, but we don't have that post dominance along with the guard dominance too that we've had in the past.
Well, Coach, you got to be proud of her. I can't wait to see how that game comes out on Thursday night. That'll be a lot of fun. Coach, doing a great job there. Proud of you. Proud of your team. You guys have come a long way since the beginning of the year. You won some big games. You've got some big games coming up. As you said, this week you got 4 of them. And if you want to check out the Letcher Central Lady Cougars, you can do that maybe tomorrow night, weather permitting. They're supposed to play Knott County. Of course, if this game is postponed, it will be rescheduled as fast as possible because it is a district game. So be on the lookout for that. Also, they got Johnson Central this week. Then they play
June Buchanan.
June Buchanan, another district game, and then you play Prairie Central Saturday night.
Coach, how do you make the decision with this weather, whether you play or not?
Well, it depends a lot on, it depends on if the traveling team can get to you. And it also depends on whether your facility, parking lots and stuff is safe to have it, because I remember when we were at Whitesburg, we had a game on a snowy, icy day, and a lady from the visiting team fell and broke her arm, and there was a big lawsuit. Those kind of things is what school systems has to worry about. It really ain't up to us coaches, because we would play if we had to get snowmobiles and go, but it's the safety of the people and those kind of things, and when it's supposed to be 6 degrees in the morning and a high of 17. There's not much melting going on and things like that,
and wind chills below zero. Gosh,
it's usually up to the visiting team. If the home team says it's clear to come, if they can get there and get back safely, then you usually agree to play.
It's a big game too, because always when Knott and Letcher gets together, that's usually the game that determines the top 2 seeds in the district. So it's a big game, and also
big rivalry.
I think you're better now than you were when you played Knott County the first time. I think they might have caught you off guard the first time you played them. This time, I think you're a little more prepared and ready to go.
Well, I am, but I'm not out there playing. But our kids know. They saw them. They know. They know what they're going to bring, what they're going to play. And I'm sure Coach Huff and them's not going to change anything, because they manhandled us the game they play. So why change? We're the ones going to have to change some stuff. And, hopefully we play better and take care of the basketball better.
I think you will. I got faith in your team. They're coming along nicely. Coach, I want to thank you so much for being with us, being a part of the show. I can always depend on you when I need a guest. You're always there for me. Thank you so much. We'll be keeping up with the Lady Cougars, and we'll have you back on here pretty soon.
Thank you, CJ. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Talking with you, Coach.
Thanks for what you all do.
Well, we're here for the kids. We're here for you guys to promote your team, and hopefully you guys will hopefully you get that game in tomorrow night. If not, then you can check them out on Wednesday night. They will be home against Johnson Central.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't get it in tomorrow night, they got another couple games this week. Coach, good luck to you, and we'll be talking to you soon.
See you later, guys. Have a good night.
Stay warm, stay safe, Coach.
Coach Keith Baker of the Letcher County Central Lady Cougars, as they get set they got a big week ahead of them. Joining me now from the 12th Region Sports Media over there, Mr. Kenny G. Kenny, welcome back. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, sir. Always good to come on the CJ Howard show here, especially when it's cold outside.
Very, very. First of all, I want to ask you how your father's doing. I know he's been in the hospital. I wanted to make sure that he was doing better.
No, he's doing fine. So my dad decided that he was going to stick his hand in a feed grinder. And so the day, last Thursday, I guess the day all the snow was coming in, I had to take him to UK, which is about an hour away from where we live. And set up there all day until we drove 20 mile an hour all the way home after that. But no, I mean, I'm being selfish here, but no, he's fine. They thought they were going to cut it off, but they stitched it back up, and he's good to go. And they wheeled him out in a wheelchair, and I asked him, I'm like, dude, what'd you do? Did they break your leg while you were in there, or what? You just hurt your finger a little bit. I mean, come on, dude. Like, goodness. And my dad used to aggravate me all the time growing up. He said, you know what, son? He said, you got all kinds of book sense, but you ain't got much common sense. That's what he'd always tell me. We're on the way home. I said, I may not have much common sense, but I've never stuck my finger in a grinder before. I can tell you that. So,
that father-son moments there, you used to love them, don't you? Don't you, Kenny?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so my dad was 15 when I was born. 15. So, man, you talk about growing up poor and just struggling to get through. And then, when I was a teenager, I didn't really appreciate what my dad did or what he had to go through just to get me to where I was to an adult. But as a young adult, I started to realize how important my dad was. And so now me and my son have the same relationship to where, like, I don't think he really appreciates what dads do, but he's going to find out soon. And I guess it's just part of it. So I appreciate my dad. And my dad quit school in 8th grade. I was born at 15, struggled his whole life. Now he's a self-made millionaire. I mean, success story all the way.
Yeah, it's my dad ain't around no more, and I miss him every day. But I remember we were about the same way you were, poor. We got by the best we could, but I can go back and remember everything he taught me, and now I know why he taught me that way. So
back then you think they're being jerks. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. And now you're like sitting there, you're like, okay, now I'm the jerk. So it's a full circle moment.
Yeah. We're going. I want got some good 12th region basketball going on over there.
Yeah.
Been keeping up with a lot of teams. A lot of good competitive play over there. Both Danville teams winning the All A.
Danville Christian Academy. Yeah.
Yes. Are they starting to take over this region, boys and girls?
Yeah. They are. They're a private school. Private Christian school. A lot of people want to go there. They got the access to bringing in kids from overseas, so they start 2 7-footers in their boys lineup, and they're phenomenal players. They are coming over here and changing their lives, but to be real with you, I mean, public schools, it's hard for them to do that. It's not really that, but and then that, I mean, just people want to go get that type of education, that Christian based education, and it's a little more old school schooling. A lot of people like that. It's a little more laid back, I think, in some terms. But no, man. I mean, outside of that, they got some of the best players. Grace and Boogwa on the girls' side, she's signed with Louisville, one of the top 2-3 players in the state of Kentucky, and they just, I mean, they're just really good. No, I was over there at DCA when it first went to the KHSAA. I was an assistant coach with Don Story for a couple of years. And I remember those first few years of just trying to get started and stuff. And it was some brutal days, some brutal days. But, yeah, those two teams are – now, don't get me wrong. On any given night, some of these 12th region teams can sneak up and get you. But so far this season, DCA seems to be the class ahead of everybody else.
They got actually a pretty decent draw, both of them in the All A. We'll get to that to see. Overall, I'm looking at the girls. West Jessamine, 14-2, jumping out at me. Probably they were not talked about much in the preseason. Pulaski, Danville, Southwestern, but Southwestern's record is deceiving because they have played nothing but.
Junior Mo knows what he's doing. They're playing top tier talent. You know what I mean?
Well, they're playing number one teams about every night, and the best teams every night, and they're 9-7, and they're West Jessamine 14. I think I won't be honest. I think Southwestern's the best team in the 12th girls.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this: Southwestern and West did face each other, and West beat them in overtime. Now, outside the 12th, a lot of people wasn't talking about West Jessamine. But we talked about West Jessamine a lot because, West Jessamine finished second last year in the 12th Region Championship to DCA. They returned the second best player in the region in Claire Marshall, who's a double-double. I mean, we're talking about quadruple-double every night, possibly. That's a chance you'd go there. But here's what's happened with West. Their point guard tore her ACL. Their Isabella Lewis, who then stepped up behind Claire Marshall, was the second best player behind Claire, was in a car wreck and ended her season a week ago. So West is down 2 of their 3 or 4 best players in the last little bit. Now, they continue to win. Southwestern is a team. Me and Junior Moden, we're close. We're good buddies. And I've seen them play a couple different times, and me and him's talked about what they need to do. The thing with DCA is their height and rebounding. They got Amari Blackburn and Grayson Boogwa, who are averaging, they both can get 20 rebounds a night, 40 rebounds between the two of them. So it's really difficult. Right now, in my power rankings that we do on our show, which is, as soon as I get done with here, we're going live with our show. I got DCA 1 because they're healthy. I got West at 2 because I don't think they've not done nothing to drop yet, But me knowing the situation there, and then I got Southwestern at 3, Pulaski at 4, Wayne at 5. You could throw Rock in there, 5-6, as well. I've seen them play a couple times. I wish they were a little better than what they were, but
I'm not going to Judy Mason. I'm not Judy Mason. Christy Noble team is always ready to play every night.
Yeah.
I've known her for a long time. She's one of the most phenomenal coaches around. She'll have them ready by tournament time. I know she will.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll definitely have them ready. And they've got Macy Spivey and Taylor King. And Taylor King just got her 1,000th point. She's a junior. Macy's coming off an ACL injury. So they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. But right now it's 1 DCA, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is trying to figure it out. And then I think there's another, gap to 7. Not much of a gap, but 7, 8, 9. You got Lincoln, Boyle in there, Garrett possibly, but a lot of young teams too, man. A lot of people playing young players.
What brought Coach Salyers back to Mercer? He could have stayed at South and had it made. Did he want to come back home? Does he think he can get this program? They're 4-12. Does he think he can get them back in the future where they used to be, or what? Because he's a really smart coach, really great guy. And I love talking with him.
Yeah.
But
I've not had a chance. I've not had a chance to talk to Coach Souter since he's come back yet. Just hasn't lined up. And I mean, listen, when you win 2 state championships as a school, there's a little bit of a little bit of a love there, a marriage there, kind of sort of. And he left, and I'm telling you right, their record is kind of bad, but I mean they're also playing. Look who they're playing. Look at the ages that he's playing. 7th, 8th grade. I mean, he knows how to build a program. And in 2 or 3 years, I say we'll be, we'll see how that goes. But I'm not, like I said, the first year or two with a new coach, I don't really put a whole lot of stock into it just yet. I'm not for sure why he come home, but I know he did, and it opened all the eyes.
Coach, I'll use another one, Kitty. My good buddy and great friend, John Bentley at East Jessamine. Listen, their record's not the best, and John's a great coach, and that ain't what's important to John right now. But I know John's going to turn that program into something strong eventually.
Yeah, he's got a good young player in Tyson Duke up there. It's a freshman that's going to be a solid player, and I've not got the chance to talk to him either. So I've been slow making my rounds around this year. I've kind of work, and my son plays varsity basketball as well. He's a sophomore, so it's been kind of.
Where's he play at?
Well, he did play at Boyle, but we recently moved to Rockcastle, so we're waiting for eligibility.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Rockcastle usually has a pretty good team down there, don't they?
Yeah, they're solid. They're in a tough district, man. They're in the same district as Pulaski and Somerset. Yeah. So it's so last year Rockcastle lost to Pulaski in overtime by 1 or 2, right? I mean, it was a hectic game.
I remember that. Yeah.
Pulaski goes on to win the region. So, just imagine what Rock's thinking right there. Like they're a half a second away from being region champions, possibly.
Yeah, yeah. How many A schools are in that region? Single A.
Let's see. You got Danville Christian, Bergen, Trinity, Somerset Christian, maybe. And I think 5. But listen, it's not the all A. The all A in the 12th region is not much. I mean, it's DCA's to win, or Somerset. So basically, on the boys' side, it's DCA versus Somerset, and they met in the first round this year.
There's a lot of schools in the district. I mean, in the region, aren't they?
But see, but most of them aren't competitive really as far as
now.
Sports go,
do they play a regional tournament or do they play a super regional?
With the amount of schools. Now, what was that again?
With the amount of schools in the region, do they play just a regional tournament or do they play super regional?
They play just a regular 12 region tournament, and
not a lot of schools yet doing that super regional, are they, CJ?
The 15th did it last year. They're going to do it again this year. I think some other regions are looking at them. I think eventually you're going to have all the regions do it because they're going to want that second chance at the bite of the apple. If they get one, you use an example. You said Pulaski played Rockcastle County and got say you're in a district where you get 5 teams, which one district over has 7, 6.
Yeah, the 12 regions grown. Some districts do have. I think they've been talking about realigning, and they've talked about. I've heard rumors that East and West might go to the 11th. I've heard McCurry might go to the 13th. I've heard some changes are coming, but now I'm not. I don't know when and where.
You talk about realignment. I tried to get when I had Julian on here earlier in the year. I tried to get a little bit out of him about realignment. He said, "I don't know if we'll ever see it in basketball." That he hesitated. Do you think we'll see an overhaul of all the regions in new realignment?
Well, they may have to with all the new private schools popping up. And listen, here's the thing: these private schools aren't just popping up and just being there anymore. They're popping up and they're figuring out a way to be competitive in sports.
Well, and
And
two guys,
yeah,
it gives the smaller schools a little I mean, what am I
yeah,
saying? I'm income, I guess, or
yeah.
they get money from the super regional as well.
Well, so here's the thing I will tell you is how do most small schools grow through sports? And people, you can talk about education, you can talk about all that stuff you want to, but if you want to grow your school, a private school or a small school, you win basketball and football games. Guess what? You're going to grow huge because everybody wants to go there.
Yeah,
And that's just
revenue's what I meant to say.
yeah, yeah. That and those are just so when you all say super regional, you're saying I wasn't really for sure. You're saying do away with the districts and seed it one through whatever and roll with it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, he is, but what he was asking me was the 15th region did what they called a second chance tournament. The teams that were eliminated from the district got a chance to play in the second chance tournament.
Yeah.
And McGoffin County ended up winning that second chance tournament, and McGoffin County went on to win the region. I think Sanders thought that since there were so many teams over the 12th region, you guys automatically didn't play district. No, Sanders, everybody plays district.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a district tournament. The 15th is the only one doing the second chance tournament right now. But
Are they the
other
ones in the state
regions
doing
are
that?
just the 15th only.
Okay.
But the other schools, the other state regional people are watching them. And then when they ended their second chance tournament last year, they had tons of phone calls from regions 1 through 16. Everybody wanted to know, oh, God, this was really good. We like this. How did you do this? Okay, well, it did go well. There was a thing or two they did have to tweak. So they have tweaked it. So what they did last year, they just gave the team this year, the team that gets eliminated. Okay, say you got a 14 district. I'm going to use Johnson Central, Paintsville, McGoffin, and Martin County. Okay, so Martin County, Johnson Central wins district. Okay, that puts McGoffin County and Paintsville in the second chance tournament. Paintsville's got the best record. They'll host as long as they're staying in the second chance tournament. But McGoffin County wouldn't play Paintsville. McGoffin County, if they have a bad record, they're going to play the best team. If that's Martin County, if that's Paintsville, they can't play the same team in their district. Wow. They have to play the opposite team in the opposite district. So
in that super regional, see, in the 12th, every district gets the winner and the runner-up goes to the region tournament.
That's the way it is in 14.
Okay.
Yeah, but what he was asking was there like a extra tournament like the 15th did? And no, you guys don't have that. Not yet. No. But I know that every one of these regions are watching the 15th and they want to try.
So the 15th's doing it again this year.
Oh, yeah. As soon as they're going to 3 nights, they're going to play. They'll start their district on a Monday. It should be over on a Wednesday. Then they're going to play 3 straight nights so they can be ready to draw on Sunday.
Well, I'll tell you this: the 12th region is really traditional. It's like they're old school, so they will probably be the last ones to jump on board for it. Because I don't know if you guys, our district tournaments and our region tournament is some. Now, listen, I will tell you this: the 12th region's down pretty good this year. Not many of these teams have a chance to win a game at Rub, depending on you have to get the best possible draw you could get. And I'll just be really open and honest about that. DCA is the only team that DCA got beat by Ashland by 10 or 12, but it was a 1-point game going into the fourth quarter. But then Ashland beats Lincoln County by 50. DCA beats Boyle by 30. But I mean, it's going to be so exciting from 2 to 10 in our region. You could flip a coin any night, and it's going to be hectic. It's good for me because it just it's more clicks and more people tuning in.
How come it's only at Lincoln for the girls and Southwestern Pulaski for the boys?
Well, it's got to be so. Let's say McCrory Central is way down there on the Tennessee line, right? Yeah. Well, they can never get to West Jessamine in an hour and a half. You got to be within a certain range, and then you got to be able to hold so many people. So Pulaski and Lincoln is that time frame from the region, and both those gyms hold a number of people. It's like Mercer. Mercer's got a great facility, but it's too far north for a lower school team to get there within the hour and a half time frame, I think it is, or something like that. They got to be within so many miles. So the 12th region is really big, guys. It goes from East and West Jessamine all the way to McCrory Central to Wayne County to Rockcastle.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jessamine, that's getting
yeah.
up there. Central
But
part of the
technically,
stadium.
like you said, you would think East Jessamine, West Jessamine all be in the 11th.
Yeah, but man, I don't know how much they could compete in 11th. 11th
Yeah,
is
well, probably
it's
wouldn't
a
be
whole
able to.
different
But
level.
yeah. So this year, the region tournament is Pulaski for the boys, Lincoln for the girls, right?
No, all the way around. It's Lincoln boys, girls, Pulaski.
Okay, so it switches this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't, I'm looking statewide, and the defending state champions are even better this year than they were last year. They graduate Mr. Basketball. They've got about as better record as they had last year. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe statewide we're seeing a lot of teams. Adair, Lyon County, Frederick Douglass is still pretty strong. But we're seeing some teams, other teams pop up throughout the state that are making a name for themselves. So what does that tell us for the future? We're going to have a lot of new blood in this tournament, or are we going to still see a lot of the same names?
Well, I'll be really honest with you on my end, man. I just focus on the 12 so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't get out in the other. I mean, I couldn't tell you much about the region you guys are in. I couldn't tell you much about the 11s or the other ones. But I do know this. I mean, it's just like college football. It's just like college basketball. You're going to have years where small schools compete and come in there, like the mountain schools, whether like Harlan, Pikeville, which they are. I mean, they're always pretty close to there. Then you're going to have the Perry County Centrals or wherever it was. I can't remember. But you're going to have those type schools pop in. But for the most part, your Louisville schools are going to be there. Your big time Lexington schools are going to be there.
Yep.
Your private schools are going to be there just because of let's be real about it. They have advantages that other people don't have.
Callaway County won the 2A today, and the boys, and Franklin County won the girls 2A. So it might be a tall tale of things to come as well. I got a couple more questions. I'm gonna let you go because I would like for you to come back when we draw for the 12th region tournament.
Yeah.
And let you break down the brackets for us. Would you come on that show?
I'll come on anytime you need me to. As long as you bring the free pop or whatever it is.
If I could get this water to you right now, I would give that to you.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Do y'all have a Cattleman's Roadhouse down there anywhere?
Oh God, no.
Mount Sterling.
I'm a hazard.
Just shout out to Cattleman's Roadhouse here, one of our big sponsors. So I throw it out there.
That's a good place to eat. I've been there one time. It was really good food. Yeah.
Well, next time if you're in Danville, Kentucky, stop by Cattleman's Roadhouse, ask for Eddie, and say that Kenny Gooden from 12th Region Sports sent you.
I've got a sister that lives in Destin. I'll do that.
Tell him that cool Kenny G said he'll buy you an appetizer.
Okay.
I got one football, one basketball, one more basketball, one football, and I'll let you go. How will both Danville teams do this coming week in the All-A?
I think they got a chance to do pretty good. I mean, like I said, where I'm so ignorant to what they're playing against, I know how. So DCA went up against Assumption the other day and lost by 20, the girls. But Assumption's really good, man. You're talking about what, top 3 team in the state of Kentucky?
Too, yeah.
Yeah. But the boys have played against teams like Ashland and come really close. I think the boys beat Franklin they beat someone pretty good. I can't remember who it was. They ended up beating some other people. So I could see both teams possibly winning a game, winning 2 games, Elite 8, Final 4.
They play the winner of Walton Verona, Emesis, the girls. Yeah. I don't know who won that game. I think that's not played till tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So your boys will play Elliott County. Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the boys from Danville make it to the finals last year?
No, I thought I can't remember.
There's semifinals.
See, that was too many sleeps ago, man. That was too many moons ago.
Because I know, you look at this field for the boys in the All-A next week. This is a good field. You got Lyon County, Martin County, Bishop Brosser, Pineville, Owensboro Catholic. They still haven't determined the 9th region champion, which if it's Newport, they have a chance to repeat as back-to-back champions.
So that's who beat DCA last year, boys.
Yeah, Newport. You got Holy Cross and Sayre. You've got Hazard, who I think is one of the favorites to win the All-A. Against Greene County, you got Clinton County, Whitefield Academy, Danville, who of course plays Elliott County, and then Walton Verona plays the Region 1, which is either going to be St. Mary, Ballard, Mayfield, or Carrollton County.
So
yeah,
Pikeville didn't make it.
Martin County did. And Martin County's for real. They're for real, and they can go down there and make a big time showing. Their boys and girls both qualified for the All-A. Got one football question, and then realignment is going to happen next year. All these coaches are doing their scheduling. I've talked to a lot of them. They said they've had to really change their way of scheduling. Got some new teams in new places. And what's that going to bring for the 12th region teams? And what does that tell me? What does Coach Haddix have up his sleeve? I know that loss to Covington Catholic had to be heartbreaking. Yeah. And he graduated a ton of kids.
Yeah.
What are they going to be, and what's realignment going to tell us in the 12th region next year in football?
So the 12th region went through a little bit of a realignment a couple years ago. What happens is so you take the 45th district, or I'm sorry, not the 45th. I can't even think right now, but you take Boyle's football district. You know, you got Boyle, Wayne, Taylor, Lincoln, and I think it was Russell. So one of those teams is leaving. I can't remember which one it is.
I think it's Russell.
Okay. For the most part, Boyle is in a whole different category than all those other teams. So every time they play a district game, it's a running clock by first, second quarter. So you have to be really good at, you have to push the issue and go play teams like they did last year in Ohio. You gotta find good games, Frederick Douglass or, LCA, find those games in your out of district schedules. So, and Boyle's really the only team that has to face that for the most part. I think Pulaski, they had Southwestern in their district, then they have North and South Laurel. But I think with the football, with the RPI, I'm not a big fan of RPI. I just don't think it's a very accurate representation of what it needs to be. But you got to put it in consideration. So, having home field advantage is a huge thing when it comes to high school football playoffs. So you got to play teams that you got to play teams that win games, and then you got to beat them. So, and that's how the RPI works. It's all about winning teams and beating them. Margin of victory, nothing of that counts.
I know a lot of these coaches that said they've had the hardest time in the world trying to get games. They said they couldn't. They said that teams won't play them. I said, Coach, I told one coach, I said, Coach, you're so good every year. That's why you can't.
Last year, I think I seen there was a bunch of teams just forfeit games. Just y'all win for it.
That was like Breathitt County the last 2 years. They've had a really tough schedule, didn't they, CJ?
Mm-hmm.
And playing a lot of higher class teams, bigger schools.
With this class leaving, Justin, does Boyle go down a little, or do they stay where they're at?
Well, listen, you're never me and Coach Haddix talked about this. You can't replace Montavian Quisenberry now.
Oh no, you cannot.
You can't. You cannot replace him. You got to have 10 guys step up So I think. So they've relied a lot on Tavy the last few years. I think it's going to go back to a little bit more of a everybody's got to step up type mentality.
Yeah,
they got a lot of great kids though, dude. They got Seneca Driver, 6'6", 6'7" tight end. Baylor Murphy's coming back from his first full year of starting. Yeah. They've got some pieces coming in that I'm not going to throw out there just yet. So that are athletes, and they got some young kids that are going to step up. They're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. Now, state championship, it's hard to do, guys. It's hard to do. But Boyle will be right there in the mix somewhere. And it's kind of, listen, when you win, people just show up on your front door. So they're not going to have no trouble finding, or I'm not even going to say that. They're not going to have trouble people finding them.
Yeah.
So
100%. Well, Kenny, great job as usual. Always, you always break this down as usual. I do want you to come back when we have the regional tournament draws. I'm trying to think. That'll be somewhere about the week after Valentine's. I think the district starts on the 20.
Now listen, I'm not going to come be your Valentine or nothing like that. Now you have to.
No. I'm trying to think when the district tournament starts.
Hey,
So
next time maybe we should let Sanders talk a little bit. Me and you talk up all the time.
I'm just waiting on getting down there at Danville.
He's ready for that food there at Cattleman's place. He's ready.
Cattleman's
But Kenny, thank you so very much for coming back by. Like I said, I want you to stop in. I'll send you an invite and everything when we get the 12th region girls and boys drawings. We'll see where everybody's at, and by that time we ought to have a pretty good idea who they're going to play at referee in the 12th region and who we think is going to come out of there.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thanks so much, Steve Father. We were praying for him.
Nice
Hope he feels better.
Nice to meet you, brother. Y'all have a good one now.
I've got a nephew who works at the Chevy dealer down there in Danville. So.
Oh, Bob Allen.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say I'm a Stuart Powell guy. Stuart Powell's one of my sponsors. So if you all looking for a market for a car, Ford, Mazda, go to Stuart Powell in Danville, Kentucky. So
if you say Kenny G, will that help get a discount on the vehicle?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think so. Listen, they love me. I'm telling you. No, listen, the bad thing about me is I've got a whole lot of people that love me and a whole lot of people that very much dislike me. So it just depends on what town you're in. Be careful.
I understand.
Yeah.
Kenny, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
There you go.
Kenny G from the 12th Region Sports Network, as he's always keeping us updated on the 12th Region stuff there. We appreciate it. Now joining us is a really good friend, great guy, and one of the top basketball coaches in this state, Coach Alan Feilhaus Jr. Coach, it's great to have you back.
Hey, thanks for having me on, CJ.
Always love when I can have you on here. It's we're always glad to be talking Madison Central basketball, and my first question, much like I've asked these other coaches, how are you battling the weather and rescheduling games? Because I know it's had to be a headache.
Really, for us, it hadn't been too bad. We missed the Henry Clay game. We've already got it rescheduled, I think, for like January 30th. We missed our Oldham County game. My good friend Chris Renner coaches there at Oldham County. We haven't been able to reschedule that. I think the time we were supposed to play them, I give Chris a hard time about this. I hate those 2-10. And he said, well, Coach, I just really can't find a date right now to play. I said, I guarantee you, if you were 10-2, you'd find a date to play that game now. And I'm really going to give him heck next time I talk to him, because he came to Madison Southern and picked up a game this past Wednesday night, got a good win at Madison Southern. So wait till I talk to him again. I'm going to kind of put some pressure on you, try to find a date to reschedule that game.
You'll be like, okay, hey, what about this date right here? I see that we can do that right there.
Yeah, I've sent him 2 or 3 now, and I know he doesn't have any games on those dates, so I'm still waiting for that phone call.
Maybe you'll get it.
I hope so.
But these other, a lot of these teams, weather's really hurt them bad, because they're going to be back-ended by February, because some are going to be playing 3-4 games every night in February.
Well, a lot of people, of course, our district is not seeded. We might be the only district in the state left that has a blind draw. And, of course, I don't have to play district games. I don't even play Model and Berea, who are in our district. We don't even play them on the regular season. So you have to get those district games in. The big thing for me, we're very fortunate. I know a lot of these school systems, I know the Fayette County school systems, if they're out of school, they can't even practice. And that would kill. That would drive me absolutely crazy. I don't think we've missed a practice yet. I mean, there's been a couple days where I told them it's optional, but my guys tend to find a way to get to that gym. They're going to be out in that snow anyway, so they like to get in there. Like, we had our guys in there today. We didn't have anybody to miss. So we're very fortunate in regards to that. But, yeah, I can see where the scheduling can be a nightmare for some teams, but we've been pretty fortunate ourselves.
I know there was Brett, that they had a game scheduled here in the next day or two with Madisonville, and they canceled it. They probably won't make it up.
Yes, it's talking about distance like that.
Last week, I think.
It would be hard.
It's hard to get those rescheduled.
Yeah, but
yeah, it is.
in your district, when will that ever become a seed district?
You'll have to ask Bree and Model. One of them would have to vote. One of them would have to vote to seed, and I don't see that
like
happening.
similar like CJ? Is that similar like what the 54th district used to be?
Yeah. But then they realized that they had the seed. It was more games for the teams, and it's better off to do it that way anyway. Because eventually, your district's 4 teams, right, Coach?
Right, 4 teams.
You, Model, Berea, and Madison Southern. Is that
right?
Right. Okay.
That's
yeah.
right.
So I mean, you guys are in the same boat that the 54th used to be. When Perry Hazard always wanted to see, but you never could get Buckhorn Leslie to budge.
Right.
But then the one year you did get Leslie County to budge, last 3 years we've seen it, and it's been good. I mean, it's been. Listen.
Yeah, last year was their first year to do that, right, CJ?
Yeah, and it was good. I mean, listen, there's going to be years Perry and Hazard's not going to be as good. Buckhorn might be good. Listen, you just don't know who's going to be good. That's why you got to take a chance to do it. But also, it gives you a chance to get you 6 games that you wouldn't have, that you wouldn't have to worry about scheduling. You just have to worry about putting them on a date. You know what I mean, Coach?
Right.
And I know you are up for seeding, and so is Southern.
But I don't even think about it anymore. I've been there 32 years, and it hadn't happened so far, so I'm not counting on it to happen anytime soon.
That's like I keep asking Julian. I said, "Are you going?" I said, "Are you guys ever going to go to a point where you'll intercede and make?" He goes, "CJ, we've got almost." He said there was 5 districts left in the state of Kentucky that do not seed. There's 5.
Well, I think there's less than that now, because I know the Mason-Bracken district. They've gone to seeding this year for the first time.
Okay, so we're down to 4
regions, right?
Less. There might be 4.
We're down to 4. What did you say, Sanders?
You mean regions, right?
No, we're talking about district.
Oh,
there's 4. There's 4 districts left in the entire state of Kentucky that do not seed.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, again, the 11th region, another battlefield, as always. But a little bit different this year, though, as I was looking at some of the records over here a little bit ago. You're going to have to beat Frederick Douglass if you want to get out. Everybody knows that. But Station and Great Crossing both. Great Crossing's got a great team. Frederick Douglass. Talk about this region as a whole, because it's a little different this year than it has been in the past. Because Catholic's not up there, they've not been as good as they've been.
Dunbar too.
Some of these schools some took over, some are at the top. You guys have been playing really well. Really impressed with your win yesterday, because you beat a good Whitley County. Was it Whitley County you beat yesterday? I believe about 96-64. They're not a bad team.
No, that's good. They have some good young players. You got to go through Great Crossing on our end. Great Crossing, Big Douglas. They've already played them once. They beat Douglas by 7 or 8, and you've got a guy that's 7-1, and nobody else has anybody like that. And of course, they made it to the semifinals last year. You got to start with them. We played them really well. They beat us by 4 points over there last week. So I thought that was really good for our guys, just to realize that we can play with them. And of course, that game didn't mean anything. It's that next time that we would face them when it really means something. So I would think Great Crossing would definitely be the favorite. Bryan Station and Douglas both are extremely good. Douglas has beaten them twice. They'll still have to play one more time, another district game. They played one game in a tournament. And then after those 3, I think ourselves and Henry Clay are close behind, I hope. But with your Great Crossing, when I told my guys, you play them 10 times, they might beat you 9. That one time might be that regional tournament game, and that's what we're hoping for.
You said you lost by 4 to Great Crossing. That's a great accomplishment, because back early in the year, Perry Central played Hazard. A lot of people thought Hazard was going to run all over them. They lost had a chance to win the game in the end with a 3 and missed it. And so, and then it gave the boys confidence. Hey, we can play with Hazard, even though they're 17-1. Coach Holland's always got a great team, but it was a good accomplishment builder for the Commodores.
Hey, you get in that rivalry game, the best team doesn't always win in that rivalry game. I promise you that. We played Madison Southern twice this year, and they've still got a really good point guard left. Really good point guard. They lost everybody else. but we had to play really well to beat them both times. They had 14 threes against us, and we're playing man-to-man the second time, but we still came out on top. But those rivalry games, there's some crazy things can happen in those rivalry games.
This is I'm watching this question because you've been around a long time. You're a great ambassador for the game. Your dad, great coach and everything. I still can remember when you won your state championship. I was on the call for that when that happened. But your program is still playing at the same pace, Coach. Consistent basketball every year. And you've got to be proud of that, where you've come from and where your teams have come from year to year.
Well, last year, CJ, I know we talked last year. It was probably the weakest. I had great kids. It was probably the weakest team that I've had since I've been at Madison Central. But it was because we were so young. And it was basically, we had a JV team playing what I always think is the toughest schedule in the state of Kentucky. And we were just getting physically manhandled. And this year, of course, I've got all those guys back. I still just have one senior, but of course, I've added my nephew to my team this year, Darren's son, and that's been a pretty big addition.
How's he doing?
He's averaging 21 and 12. So,
oh my,
that's been a
wow.
pretty big addition.
So he
pretty big addition to our program. He's got a couple D1 offers last week. He really played well against Malachi Marino. I think Jake had 29 on Malachi. And he's just a junior, and he's 6'7", got a 6'9" wingspan. So
is he a workhorse like Darren was?
Not built really. Truthfully, he has more of a basketball build than Darren does. He has much longer arms, huge hands, longer legs. Darren was really kind of short-waisted, so really he has a better basketball body than Darren does. Now Jake is a really good golfer too.
I really liked watching Darren play. He was something else. Let me tell you.
Yeah, he's very similar. You can tell it's his son. That's for sure.
He may be wearing the blue and white. Who knows?
I'd like that. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You've done this program is you have to, like I said, you have to be proud of this program because you guys have accomplished so much. I mean, you guys strive for consistency, and every year it's consistency at its best. And you play in what is, I think, considered one of the toughest regions in this state because I always say the 11th and the 6th and the 7th and maybe the 10th from year to year are the toughest 4 regions in this state. And if you want to be able to be a contender, you got to be able to win against. You got to be able to beat those 4 regions. If you can't, you ain't going to.
Right. And not only our schedule, if you just stayed in the region, I mean, that makes for a pretty tough schedule. But we try to find the best teams in the other regions too. Of course, we've already played. We played Hazard. We still have Trinity to go. We still have Covington Catholic to go as far as teams, outside of our region. We always try to find the best. I think that's the thing I'm most proud of is that we don't back down from anybody. I mean, we might not always be successful against those teams, but we think if you go out and play them, that gets you prepared to compete in that 11th region because a lot of times you get to that 11th region tournament, you're definitely going to have to play at least two teams in the top 10, sometimes maybe even 3. I've had years where we played 3 teams that are ranked in the top 20 when you get to the regional tournament.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and that happens a lot, especially in the 10th and the 11th, because you got the 10th, you got Covington Catholic, you got Newport, you got Beechwood. Them's good every year, and
right.
Those are 3 of the teams that are still fighting for an All-A spot this coming week. Should be determined the champion tomorrow night, or they might have done it today. I didn't see the score, but hopefully they'll get there's 2 regions that's not determined they're All-A represented yet. Coach,
you get to that All-A state tournament. I'll tell you, I think the 2 best teams will be playing in that opening round. You got Hazard, you got Greene County. My former assistant coach Jordan Gilbert coaches there.
I think they're 17-1. One of the Hazard players told me today.
They had a couple good additions out of Pittsburgh to their team this year who've made a drastic difference, and Jordan does a good job too. He's an old Mason County boy.
A lot of people said that the winner of the Hazard Greene County game probably wins the All-A. And I said, yeah. I went back and done research on Greene County because I didn't know a lot about them. And when I went and done my research, I was like, This is going to be a nice one. I said, this is going to be a good one. I said, usually,
Caudle told me today that they were 17-1. Green County is.
Yeah, so both of them were 17-1. So
Douglas is the only team
17-2
to
or
beat
something
Green
like
County.
Wow, that will be impressive. Coach, I see you play a couple of my good friends later in the year. You play North and South, and Jeff and Nate, and I had them on the show a couple weeks ago, and you know they're cruising along nicely. That'll be fun for you.
Thank goodness we have them both at home this year. We had to go. We had them both on the road last year, and Jeff had some bad luck last night. They played Clay County, and he had one of his second leading scorer, the skill kid, I guess, had a horrendous fall, and I think he fractured his back. So our prayers go out to him because I know he's a great kid.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Coach. Yes.
Yeah, I really hate that for him.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I forgot to put that in my notes. I had saw that. Les Dixon had mentioned that in the 13th region thing on his Facebook page, and I forgot to put that in my notes. I'll have to put that in my notes for next week and make sure we mention that too. Right. I know that we was mentioning people want you to remember your prayers. Coach Haywood, serious car wreck yesterday. He's in very serious condition. There's several things. I think his daughter came out today and said there was several injuries, some of them serious.
Right.
So I know football, basketball, baseball, you coaches, y'all know each other, and y'all, when one goes down, we're all there for everybody. So yeah, just remember him in your prayers too, because that was
definitely.
We can't afford to lose any more legends. We done lost Coach Matney about 4 years ago, and we've lost some others, and yeah, it's just tough. And I want to ask you about one other guy, Mr. John Bentley. You miss him?
Yeah, I do miss John. I talk to John every couple of weeks, and he's been a little frustrated. Of course, he's got a new young one. He's had a horrible back surgery before the season started. I mean, he was in pain the whole time I had him last year. And he had to go clear to Texas to get this surgery, and it's going to take a year for a full recovery. And then anytime you take a new job, you have growing pains going through that first year. But he's a great guy. I know he'll hang in there, and he'll get East Chessman going. Oh, ain't no question about that. I told him, I said, I go back to this. I said, it took a lot of pride to go and do what you did last year, to go learn from one of the best. He said, I wouldn't have done it any other way. I would have done it 100 times. And I said, I would have done it 100 times. If I could learn from the best, I would go do it. And and John's a great individual. And I think him being there for that 1 year with you was such a great thing. And we talked about that when he's on the show about a month ago. How it ain't what he's going to do this year, what he's going to do in the future with this East Chessman. He's got a really great point guard. He's excited about a freshman. He's got some young kids he's excited about, but he's trying to get that program established, get them put on the ground. I know he will, because he's learned so much from you, and what he's already known, and what he learned from you last year. He'll build, and he'll make that East Chessman. And I'm hoping maybe eventually one day you two will play each other. I would love to see that game. Oh, we'll definitely do that. It just takes a while to get your culture in a new program, and that first year is always the toughest. I guess I've had 3 head coaching jobs at 3 different schools, and that first year you go through some growing pains, and but once you get that culture in place and everybody understands, gets on the same page, it makes it a lot easier.
Now, did you coach at Mason County?
No, I never did coach at Mason County. I started out right out of college at 23 years old at Clinton County. I was there for 2 years, and then I went to Greene County for 5 years, and then this is my 32nd year at Madison Central. So this is my 39th year altogether.
Been at it a long time.
Yes, been at it a long time, and Sanders, he's one of the best. He's a great guy too. Listen, Coach Feldhouse, I love talking with him, and he's just a great guy. And I wish, he knows I wish him nothing but the best. And anytime I see him, I've got to go shake his hand and go talk with him a little bit, because he's a phenomenal individual. I appreciate that, CJ. I appreciate that. You're a great guy, yeah. I want to thank you for coming on again. I know anytime I need you, you'll come in here and you'll be with me, and I appreciate that. And you've been a big supporter of my show, and we're always here to support your kids and give them the recognition they need. And good luck to you. You play again. Let's see here.
We go to Lincoln County Tuesday night.
We got 4 road games coming up.
This will be about 7. We've had like 7 straight.
Weather permitting.
Yeah.
You will go to Lincoln County, Western Hills. Frederick Douglass. That'll be a fun one.
Friday night.
And then you have a game at Rockcastle County on Monday.
Right.
So you got your hands full, Coach.
Yeah, we got a little road stretch here.
Who's your All-A representative in that?
Sayer.
Yeah, Sayer won, and Sayer's good. Of course, they're in that bit tough district with Frederick
How
Douglass.
well they've done in the state football? Hey.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of those kids, he's got 3 or 4 of those kids who play basketball too.
Oh well.
I talked with Chad last week. Had him on the show. We was talking about his state championship, and he was telling me that just what you said. Several of those kids play basketball, and he said it's made the basketball program even better. And instead of the basketball program seeing what the football did, the basketball program's jumping on the bandwagon and starting to play with the same consistency the football team is. So
right,
yeah,
they've got some good athletes. They got some good athletes.
They do.
Those football players tend to bring a physicality to a basketball team.
Yep, they do.
That helps the team.
They do that.
Coach, bless you. Anytime. I will talk to you very soon. Good luck to you the rest of the season, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck.
I appreciate it, CJ. Appreciate everything you do for high school sports.
Nice meeting you, Coach.
Nice to meet you too.
Coach, you have a good one. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Coach Alan Fellhouse of the Madison Central Indians. They get set to play Tuesday night. They got Lincoln County. That should be a big one for them.
Now his dad coached for years at Mason County, didn't he?
Yeah. Mason County, of course, won a state championship too. I called some of their games when I was at Rupp Arena there as well. Joining us for the first time, and I don't know why this is happening for the first time. He should have been on here a long time ago. I guess that would be the fault of the host. So bad host. Do not know why I've not had Jamie.
Give him a smack on the hand.
Yeah, I smacked my hand there. Bad host. I don't know why I've not had Jamie on here before.
Well, I appreciate the invite, man. Anytime you can sit in a chair that Scott Corney and Brian Milam both sit in, it's a pretty big honor.
Brian Milam, we have to check him occasionally, but Scott, we're okay with that one. Yeah, we're fine with Brian. I have to eventually, slide him over. Brian, I say, Brian, here, take over, and the show just goes wherever. So, but they're both great.
Jamie, this weather's played smash with church services too, ain't it?
It has just about everything, guys. We had to cancel church. Had an awards ceremony scheduled tonight in which we were going to honor the fall sports athletes in our coverage area. We had to reschedule that to February. But hey, nothing we can do about that, guys.
We've not been. My church has not had church now in 3 or 4 Sundays.
Yeah, we were able to have Bible study Wednesday, but we, of course, for the folks that don't know, I pastor Lighthouse Baptist Church over here in Knott County, and got to do a lot of basketball games this week. But
you got to feel like a basketball coach. You got to feel like a basketball coach, Jamie, though, because where you can't have church, I mean, it's hard because we want to be when the doors open. We want to be in there.
Yeah,
and we do. It's so important, guys. When COVID hit, we thought we found the need to have services online. And that was all good and well, Sanders, then. But now it's so important to be in church with each other. And
it is, yes.
Fellowship.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. You guys had a good show tonight. I enjoyed tuning in. I was sitting here tuning in to Coach Feldhouse and downloading some pictures, and he kind of caught me off guard. I felt like I was taking a nap here. But, guys, is it not a fun time, though, for basketball, especially here in the mountains of Eastern KY?
Saw a good thing.
And in college, too.
Saw a good thing last night. Was part of the Harold Mullins Classic. Jamie, let me ask you about that. Then we're going to get into these other regions. Is that eventually going to be an extended thing where they'll invite more teams, make it a full day of activities and stuff?
I can see that even more so sooner now. But I think the long term would have been 3 or 4 years. I can't speak for Josh and those guys in management, but yeah, it'll happen soon. I expect that to be, if not a tournament, certainly a classic that would have maybe, I could see 3 games, 4 games, and then evolve into a tournament, maybe.
Yeah.
What we
I
talking
know,
about? What was this we're talking about?
The
That's the
Harold
Harold
Mullins
Mullins
Classic
Classic.
yesterday.
Okay.
Here's what I had heard, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. They wanted to do a 4-year trial with just a doubleheader girl boy. So they wanted to do Hazard the first year, Perry Central this year, and then maybe Leslie County or Letcher Central or another school that Harold had covered in the coverage area, and then another school, and then if it went well, they would bring a bunch of the coverage areas teams in and then have a classic, like a start like in the morning and play into the evening. Girls and boys. That's what I heard.
I expect that to happen. Of course, Harold, a lot of people don't realize it. He and Coach Holland were real good friends. When Coach Holland would take teams out west or down south, even to that, Harold would go and if not cover them, at least go, and watch them on. And then, of course, his ties are real deep here in Knott County with the fact that he worked for the Killer Bee radio station. He worked for Channel 12 at the opening and then finished, was actually working once again, kind of how things came full circle as he was working with Channel 24, which is initially Channel 12 over here in Knott County. And the guy just meant so much to us. And I'm very proud of the job that Josh Cornett and the guys do to keep his memory alive there.
Yeah, they should. I mean, he was a great individual, and we miss him every day.
See, there was 2 good games, too, by the way. Excellent games.
I think a lot of people were surprised last night by the way the Prairie Central girls played because they're coming along. They're getting better. I don't think Knott County probably had a little hangover from the All-A, but I thought you could take away the last minute of the girls game last night. That's about an even game going to last minute. But when Knott scored them 10 points there at the end of the first half, that was different to the game.
It made the difference. And anytime you got a player like Kyra McAlance, who, by the way, I want to start a campaign for her being Miss Basketball and not just the 14th. Yeah. Guys, she's as good as you're going to find across the Commonwealth.
Had 29 points in that All-A championship game, man.
Well, I'm 32 a couple nights before that. I did the math before I went on the air. She scored 114 points and grabbed 43 rebounds this week.
Wow. That's
it's
impressive.
Not a bad week, guys.
No,
that's solid. That's getting it done. If you want to talk about numbers, that's getting it done. I don't, last night when I asked you to be on here, and I really appreciate you doing this. We're going to focus on some of these other regions too, because I know we're mostly 14s and we know what's going on around here, but we need to let others go what's going on in the 15s and the 13s because that's good basketball. Congratulations to Harlan today. Harlan was the runner-up in the 2A state tournament. That is a great accomplishment for losing a potential Mr. Basketball and had everybody come back, and they had a chance to win that game today and win the 2A tournament. But congratulations. I mean, you don't want to be runner-up, but that was just a great accomplishment for the Black Bears.
Not bad for a guy who was supposed to be rebuilding, right?
Right, yeah. They've done well.
Having themselves a good season. Yeah, that YMT proved to everybody, if it didn't, even prior to that Harlan County was not going to be as down as everybody thought perhaps they would be.
Betsy, I remember that what was the little special, the classic just before the mountain, DJ Begley Classic. I tell you
Classic.
What, Betsy Lane came close to beating Harlan County in that.
They did, but anytime you have a Maddox, he's going to get his 25, fellas. And more, I'm starting to appreciate these teams that have a player that is going to get his. And if everybody else plays well, you can have a big night.
Well, Cottrell come back this week, and that really helped Harlan County because he'd been out.
He had a good game. He had a good game in that Begley Classic.
He had a good tournament this week.
Yes, he did.
He was the big difference in them winning their first game on Friday. And then he had a pretty good game yesterday. And I don't know what he done today, but him being out had hurt them. And you look at that 13th as a whole. South Laurel had a devastating injury last night to the young man that got hurt. We're writing him in our prayers. I forgot about that. I'm so sad I forgot to put that in my notes. The young man got hurt in the game last night, and Coach Feldhouse said remind me of that. But that's a devastating injury for South Laurel because he was one of their leading scorers on the team. Clay County last night beat them pretty solid. But if you look over in that region, there's 7 teams over there that are for real. Harlan, Clay, Bell, South, Knox, North, and Whitley, including Pineville, who's the All-A representative. Those teams over there, solid as rocks. I mean, that 13th is crazy.
It is, and I like to see how teams are playing now. I think basketball in Eastern Kentucky, Sanders, you will agree with me, I think we play different parts of a schedule. There's the pre-Christmas, there's the holiday season, there's All-A, and now we're in the district play. And I like to look to see how teams are doing now. And that Clay County team, CJ, they're red hot, man. 7 or 8 in a row they've won, and it's been against some pretty good talent.
Yeah.
They're 7-2 in the region. The 2 losses they've got, one to Harlan County and one to Bell County, which, Bell County's 13-4. But, Bell County coach learned his lesson last year. He had a 20-win season, but he said, my fault, we didn't play nobody. We didn't make our team better. This year we played all the great comers coming, and it's made us better. And see where we're at. We're a much better team than we were then. You can the 13th boys. The injury for South last night was a big thing because
it made a big difference. It did.
Oh, what's going to make a big difference down the road now? It made a difference last night in the game when he left. They were emotionally distraught when they had to take him out.
What happened to him, guys? Did he try to go for a dunk or a rebound or something?
I don't know. I think Coach Feldhouse was talking about earlier with you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know the circumstances of his injury. I just know he hurt his back, and I don't know if he was going up or he was on defense. I don't know the situation.
These young athletes, they can really get up anymore with them, with their verticals, and it gets scary sometimes. For instance, Austin Spurry got hurt really bad a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. It's scary how high they can get up, some of them.
And an ankle injury is one thing, but a back injury like that, I just hope the kid gets better and is able to, not have long-term punishment from that.
Yes. Well, we want to pray for him as well. Keep him in your prayers too. Let's go to the 13th girls. We look at the 13th girls, and North Laurel's just running away with it. They're undefeated, but they deserve to be because they're really, really good. They're probably they're solid from head to toe. But now that region, this week we saw
Corbin.
Well, Corbin got pounded. South Laurel pounded them the other night.
I can't see anybody beating South Laurel. That's the best girls basketball team. I've done this since '98, and they have 5 college potential Division I players playing for them down there. They'll have 7 girls play college basketball,
and only one of them's a senior.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
They start 2 freshmen, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior.
Have we ever had a Mountain Classic championship game that had a running clock? And
no.
They put a running clock up in the championship game. That's how good they are, fellas. They're for real, man.
Now they do got a game coming up. There was a game on their schedule that caught my eye, but it wasn't until like February. So they have a great opportunity to go undefeated till they meet the one team. Let's see. Okay, they play Trinity. Oh, that's boys. What am I looking at, boys? I don't want to look at boys. I want to look at girls.
Frederick Douglass, perhaps. Are you looking at CJ? That's
thinking.
Day for them?
I'm thinking maybe that was it. Let's see. I thought they had a game with. Let's see. They got Franklin. They do play the 2A state champions, Franklin County, on February 10th. Franklin County won the girls 2A today. Let's see. They got Henry Clay on 21st. They play Rao on the 15th. So, they Madison Central later in the year. So they play West Jessamine, who's probably one of the top girls teams over there. So they got some tough games coming up, but they got most. They're going to get their. They have to step out of the region to see where they're at. But then we look at the rest of the region: Corbin, Knox Central, Bale, Whitley. But let me tell you about a team nobody's talking about. And when I say this team, you're going to say, "Wow, they're good." They won the All-A. Middlesboro.
Yeah.
Middlesboro girls. They had won like 5 games in 3 years. They are 10-4 going to the All-A state tournament next week.
5-3 in the region over there. Yes,
Uh-huh.
sir. They're good. I just think the only shot anybody's got to beat North Laurel, though, would be in the semifinals of that regional tournament. You, I think, want to be the team to, if you want to pull the upset up, you want to be the team playing them on the second night, in my opinion, there, pal. But I look for North Laurel not just to win that region, but I think they can make a big run down there in March at Rupp Arena.
Oh, I agree 100%. I think this year, Sacred Heart, who's our 3-time defending state champions, they're not the best this year. They're still still good, but we're Assumption has jumped out. They're back. Some other Louisville schools have had some good
Someone
seasons.
beat Sacred Heart earlier in the year, didn't they?
Sacred Heart lost 2 games. They lost their first game ever in Kentucky in over 5 years. No Kentucky school had beaten them in 5 years here, and they lost one this year.
That's a remarkable run.
That's
That's
dominant,
County
guys.
football.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do what very few teams do: win 4 in a row. No schools won 4 straight state titles, and they're going for 4. So
No school even does that include Laurel County?
no schools won 4 straight. They've won 3. The most we've had 2 boys teams win 2 back to back, but we've only had 1 girls team, and that's Sacred Heart win 3, and they're trying to win 4. So
That's that's remarkable because Laurel County used to dominate the state tournaments.
Yeah, but there's a lot of years ago they ran into some teams that are pretty good down there.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get to the 15th. Martin County boys and girls both won the All-A. Johnson Central is a good team, and I know we'll talk girls first, and we'll do boys. Johnson Central's got a really good girls team. We saw them beat Purry pretty solid in the All-A. I think Purry's improved a lot, like we said earlier. But Martin County's come from nowhere in the past month and really they're 9-4. They're 5-0 in the region, 1-0 in the district. They play each other here next Friday night down in Johnson Central. It's going to be a huge game. It's a doubleheader. It's going to be a big game. Well, not this week. It's next week because they got the All-A this coming week.
Mm-hmm.
But talk about besides them two. I don't think there's. I mean, I know Pikeville is still pretty good, but who else could do?
I like Floyd Central, CJ. They're young, but they shoot the ball. They actually have played Johnson Central the closest. They played Central. It was a 12-point ball game, but in the semifinals, I believe it was of that 2A. But they actually had the ball down single digits. Got, again, 3 good guards. Anytime you got a couple guards, you can contend in girls basketball. But I think I wouldn't count Floyd Central out over there either. And then, like you said, they started at 0-5. They had a rebuild year at the beginning of the season, but I think Pikeville is ticking and they're trending up. That region can be a 5, maybe 6-team region in girls basketball over there. I still think it's Johnson Central's Lady Eagles, though, and all credit to Martin County, but I think it's Johnson Central's Lady Eagles region to lose over there. I think at the end
And
that'll be the team come out of it.
we had Coach Baker on earlier. That's who Letcher plays Thursday, I believe.
He's played a bunch of teams out of there, too. He's played Floyd twice. Both of those were nail biters. I'm pretty sure I'm right when I actually, we can look at it here in a minute and tell you. But yeah, Coach Baker, he plays, to get ready for the tournament. He was the first team, I know that's 14th Region Talk, to get to 10 wins in our coverage area. But he likes to gear things up here in the second part of the season to get ready for the 14th Region Tournament. I think that's probably what Coach Baker's doing over there at Letcher. But yeah. Back to the 15th.
Now the boys, the girls. I think I agree with you. I think Johnson Central, Martin County, and Pikeville, and Floyd Central, but and I'll throw Lawrence County in there. Those 5 after that, I don't know those. I'm not real. That rest of you look at the records, they're not. They're not that strong.
Lawrence has got a player though in Sophie Atkins. She scored her 2,000th point this week. Shout out to her on doing that.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Hoping to see her wear that Alice Lloyd blue. Let me throw that out there. But she can score with and without the basketball, catch and shoot type player, but then also can create off the dribble. 2,000 points, fellas. I don't care where you do it. That's impressive. But to do it with the schedule that Lawrence plays year in and year out, that's neat, man.
Yeah, no question about it. Now let's get to the boys. It's a 2-team. I think it's a 4-team race for the boys, but there is a 15 that you can put in there. But I think Martin County's the favorite. I think Paintsville's right behind them. Then Lawrence, Pikeville, and Pike Central are after that. I don't think anybody else can compete for the boys' 15th region title. Now Shelby Valley's not bad. Shelby Valley has, we know their coach. She comes from Letcher Central. We know they've been playing up and down, and then the rest of the region has been down.
I'm going to sound like I live in Paintsville, but don't sleep on Johnson Central there either, guys. Johnson Central has 2 players in the top 50 in the state in scoring, and it's legit. The Sloan kid, in my opinion, he's, that 15th region's got 6 players in the top 50. There's tons of talent in that 15th region.
Those Sloan kids are athletic guys.
Well, they're 6 and 5, and I think a lot of people are down on them because of the record.
They lost the Lawrence County game, and it kind of took the air out of their momentum. Mm-hmm. But they're starting to trend back up. The 2A was good for them. Then I like Pike Central, of course, Jaden Stewart. I think maybe the best player in the mountains, certainly, and the best player in that region. And so, yes, it's Martin County's to win.
You might get some arguments there, Jamie. Braxton Keithley, I mean, my goodness, he's good.
His time's coming, and he's putting up 40 to 50 points a ball game. But if you haven't seen Stewart play, man, he's 35 points a ball game and 15 rebounds with the other team picking him up as soon as he gets off the bus. He's a senior. We know we typically lend that Player of the Year award to a senior. I don't agree with that, by the way, but we generally do. And so I'd say it's Jaden Stewart's award to win over there in that 15th region.
Yeah, I agree.
I like the Watts kid at Martineau. He can play. Ox at Pikeville's a very good player. We could go on. Braxton Keithley, fellas, could end up being one of the best we've seen in 10, 12 years come out of the mountains.
Yeah,
so don't think I'm selling him short. He's got D1 offers and going to visit
Indiana
schools.
LSU, but he's only a sophomore.
Yeah,
sophomore. Yeah. Marshall has been recruiting him for a couple years now. I don't know how public that is, but and so he'll make a nice player for somebody. I met him for the first time last week too, Sanders. He's such a humble kid.
I've not met him yet. I look forward to doing that.
When you do, I got introduced to him over at that 2A tournament. He's not what you expect. He just, yes, sir, good to meet you, type, sir. And for it, and he didn't know me from Adam, fellas, and took time to talk to me, and I was impressed with his demeanor, and they got themselves a good one over at Prestonsburg.
Yeah, he worked hard. I know his dad because his dad's great commentator, great coach, great person. But he's in the gym at 6 a.m. and he's in the gym until 10 p.m.
Gym rat. You look up
dictionary. 7 days a week.
Gym rat in the dictionary, and his picture's beside of it.
I like his length, his ability to shoot from different places. Again, just an outstanding performance there.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk
bona fide candidate for Mr. Basketball in 2027.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No question.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get to the 14th now. All right. Congratulations to the Bulldogs. We knew they probably were going to win the All-A, but
And we
now
forgot to do that, CJ. We forgot to congratulate.
Well, I was going to do that
Bulldogs.
towards the end of the show because I was going to mention all our All-A schools. I was going to mention the brackets. But Breathitt's getting closer. It seems like every time they play Hazard, games get a little. Breathitt, listen, the best thing for Breathitt ever done was go to Florida and win that tournament. Because when they come back there, it was a whole different team.
They were.
Before they left to go to Florida, they were chaos.
Yeah.
They're
Guys,
not chaos now.
Well, see, they were hoping that trip would help the guys to bond.
Oh, and it did.
And it did.
It did.
I know I'm the guest on the show, but let me ask you two if you will agree with this question. This week proved that the margin for Hazard and everybody else maybe is not as much as we thought.
I agree.
That's it, CJ. They're beatable. Now, Hazard's 10, 12, 15 points better, but they're beatable, guys. And look, you got the greatest coach they call. I don't like calling him the GOAT. I ain't comfortable calling him a GOAT, but he is the GOAT. Coach Holland, and then you have 8 players that could start anywhere. Depth,
Yeah, they can go
leader,
8, 10 deep.
They've got all the pieces to the puzzle. Yes,
They've
sir.
got reserves
still
that could
think,
beat some of the teams in the region.
That Perry County Hazard game is always going to be fun. They're going to make that a big, big game anytime they play. I still think not proved for a half that Knott County cannot come out. Oh, they were with half, and then everybody will agree it's Breathitt County that has to be the Dragon Slayer. The Bobcats are the one that, if Breathitt can get the 2 bigs going on the post.
Yeah, they struggled with that yesterday. They didn't. Their big weren't a factor in the game.
They wasn't the factor, but what was the factor was Hazard's free throw shooting, and it's not changed. That they still can't hit a free throw. And then if you can't hit your free throws, then you're not going to win the 14th region. Bottom line, we saw last year in the regional tournament, if they would have just hit some free throws, they would have been going to referee.
That game yesterday with Breathitt and Hazard, that 8-0 run, I think it was, Hazard come out with the start of the second half. That was hard to overcome.
But
we were just down 3 at halftime.
Yeah, you
an
got
8-0 run for Hazard is a 16-0 run for anybody else, though, fellas.
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
Get you down 10, it's over. You got to keep that thing under 10 to play with Hazard.
Breaking news in the NFL. Breaking news: if you've not been watching the game, it's over. It is final. Buffalo did beat Ravens 27-25. So
I thought that might happen. Yes, sir.
Well, we've now got our AFC NFC championship game set. It's going to be Kansas City and Buffalo next week in Kansas City. And then the late game will be Eagles, Commanders. Oh, I'm sorry. That'll be the early game, Eagles and Commanders. And then the late game will be Buffalo and Kansas City. So.
I'd say it's Kansas City's to lose, guys.
Me too.
It was
Me too.
Jamie. I can't see you. Is there a reason?
I can't see you either.
Yeah, that might be a good thing. I don't know. I can see myself.
Maybe I need to do that too.
James Salmon says we both got faces for radio. I mean,
but let's talk about a team that we've not talked about. I know they're 12-2. People get after them because they've not played great competition. But Jenkins might be better. Listen, Jenkins is not a bad basketball team.
No, they're not. They're well coached too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Winston's one of my best friends, and I want him to succeed at anything. But they're 12-2. They play Hazard in the All-A. Hazard being pretty solid, but they got off to such a bad start.
Had the game been played somewhere else.
See, my question is, here's a big question. You're going to have a big-time game in the 53rd District tournament Probably between Jenkins and Letcher. Who's the better team? Is Jenkins better than Letcher? Letcher is 8-8.
Only 2 of the 3 are going, fellas.
I know.
And no disrespect to Cordy and June Buchanan. Cordy's got some new players coming in. Coach Smith will get them to where it could be a 4-team contest next year. But you got Letcher, Knott, and Jenkins. Only 2 of them are going. I'm with you, CJ. I think the district games, that district seeds, which I'm a fan of, their regular season games are going to get even bigger here in this next 2 weeks.
Jenkins and Letcher. Let me see when they play each other because that'll be a monster game.
Well, Knott goes to Letcher tomorrow night if the weather will let them.
If the weather holds.
Yes.
Let's see. Jenkins. They play Knott on the 23rd.
Have they?
They play Letcher on the 31st, and they play Letcher.
They've not played either one of those guys, those teams.
No. So we'll be able to tell a lot more about Jenkins when they play play those teams. So
they also, though, back to Jenkins in Florida, what you said about Breathitt. Normally, I don't like the Florida trips because teams go down there and it just don't seem like it benefits them. But it helped Jenkins as I went to Florida and come back, an even better team. I felt like they played some of their best competition
went down there
all season down there.
2 or 3 years ago and won that tournament.
I want to go keep the book next time. Yeah. Coach Honeycutt knows how to travel. Give my buddy.
Brian Smith has said in the comments the JBS goes to Jenkins Tuesday, so that'll be that's a district game for them, so that'll be good to get them started.
CJ, that's how you get invited back on the shows. Brian's my best friend, so I told him to make sure he was watching. That'll help your numbers, and you'll get me back on maybe.
Jamie, guess what? You're going to be on here more than what you think. So don't.
You are. This is my second time.
No, this is your third time.
Oh, I believe it is. It sure is. Yeah.
We appreciate the invite, guys. But again, can we also all agree the boys' 14th region, it's hazards to win, but it's at Madison Central. And I think, guys, it could be one of the funnest we've had in a while. Last year was much fun. But it was
Powell County did a good job.
Area code at Powell County, it felt like it was a long distance phone call just to call home. But I think
fellas, I said it before the season started that Jenkins, nobody better overlook them. I did.
I thought Winston knew he had Winston knew he had 6, 7 seniors. He knew he was going to be pretty good, but he didn't know how good he could be, and I think he knows he's going to get some good tests here in the next couple of weeks. So we'll find out more about them.
Yeah,
Jamie, I want to let you talk. A couple more things. I'm going to let you go. Number one, I want you to talk about what you do for hometown sports. A lot of people probably don't know what you do. They know that you're a pastor and you're one of the most passionate pastors around, but they probably don't know about your little sports show that you guys do on Hometown 24. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Thanks for doing that, Matt. I started Hometown Sports Corner several years ago. I went to then Coach J.R. Hammond at Alice Lloyd, and I said, Coach, I've got an ideal. I'd like to be able to find a way so the moms and dads in West Virginia and other places can listen to the Alice Lloyd College basketball games. So thus we started Hometown Sports. Thought it was just going to be a way to put the audio over Facebook. We've now, fast forward, got about 17,000 followers. We do a weekly sports talk show. We do the basketball games live. We've been teaming up with Hometown 24 as well this year, doing all of the Alice Lloyd home games and some of the big games that they're not able to get to with Manus and David and Jim Bob. But again, the biggest thing for us, we just want to get out, CJ, like you guys, and do a great job promoting these kids. There was a time when Dipper and some of the fellas said their goal was to promote the mountain athletes. I think we're now at a point to where our mountain athletes get promoted, Sanders, better than anybody.
Yep.
I have to agree. Yeah.
I
try to promote them as much as I can.
Just a little part of that, CJ. And again, I know you're working with Prairie Central, but you do a great job with all of them, and both of you guys do. And we're just glad to be a part of it. Everybody, some people says, it's a competition and this. No, it's not.
No,
At the end of the day,
No,
when all the kids get
no.
recognition, and anytime you can brag on a kid and make what they're doing more enjoyable and fun, back to the pastor's part of me. One of my mentors always said, he said, they won't care what you know. He said, till they find out how much you care.
I love that. I love that. That's so great.
So we have several kids that I pastor that now are playing high school sports, and it's neat for me. CJ, let me give myself one more plug. In February, we always have at Alsoid College the Hometown Sports Corner All-Star Games. That started out with just about 20 high school players. We'll have over 100 kids playing that in February, from 5th and 6th graders up to 7th, 8th, all the way to juniors and seniors. And this year already, I got to see some kids playing varsity basketball that was in my grade school all-star game. And that's a fun thing, guys. I enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, 100%. One other thing about Floyd, and I'll let you go. Tell us about the men and women, how they're doing. And I know men got a big win yesterday, huge win.
Yes, indeed, they did. Coach Scott Cornett, again, Scott knows he's one of my heroes. I think as much of him as anybody in Leslie County does. The guy was so good to me. I went over there in 1994, graduated in 98, and never left. I've been calling basketball games over there for Alice Lloyd since 1998. But, yeah, Scott's off to a great start. Got a couple of super nice senior players. They're 12-5. Got that big win on the road this weekend, and they'll be home Thursday and Saturday this week in big River State Conference matchups. You guys get over when you can. Come over. I'll buy you a hot dog.
I like hot dogs.
Hey,
I wanted to ask you guys, I wanted to mention Owsley County's boys. They impressed me against Breathitt the other night, and their fans were just phenomenal. When Breathitt and Owsley played in the All-A, there at
it's
Lee
the
County.
right hire. They got the right guy for the job.
You know, Tyson's a good guy. Tyson's a good guy. It'll take him a little bit to get the program
they're
going.
young. They're a team to look out for in the future.
Well, but Tyson was down there when Coach Tim Bobrowski had all those good All-A teams. Mm-hmm. Yep. Tyson played there as an 8th grader all the way through. He loves the program. Good Christian guy. They got.
They got back. They got back.
It was a fun
within
game,
4 points of Breathitt.
Yeah, down 22 and cut it to 4 with a basketball against Breathitt.
And that
by the way,
was
Mr. Spurry threw down one of the best dunks I've seen all season. Austin went through the lane and had a hammer, and that just kind of swung things back to Breathitt's side.
It did.
CJ,
it did.
I'll get whipped too if we don't mention the girls' 14th region. Not trying to take charge of your show.
No, we mentioned most of the teams, but I think if we let me get my notes here so I don't forget nobody. If we talked about Perry, we talked about Letcher.
So yeah, sure.
We talked about, I listen, tournaments at Hazard, I think it's going to be a crazy tournament. I think, listen, you get you're a small, I always say when you play in these gyms that are right on top of you, when the fans can, and you get an intense game in there, anything can happen. And I think Knott County's still the favorite, but I think Perry, Letcher, and Hazard, all three have a great shot of winning this if you can just get the right break.
Throw Breathitt in there now, though. The Breathitt County stock went up big for me. They can shoot with anybody in the region. They just had a little lull. Plus, they caught Knott County when Kyra went crazy offensively. Breathitt's for real, too, guys, if they stay healthy.
Breathitt, they need size is what's their biggest weakness, rebounding and size. But they are really good from the outside.
Yes, sir.
Brandon's done a good job. This is his 4th year here, and I think Brandon, finally they've got some consistency. After they went 4 straight seasons with 4 different coaches, there wasn't no way you were going to get any consistency.
And the big thing is they're healthy this year so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lexi Combs makes my all-team first team probably. Guys, again, she can just from one end to the other, and she plays both ends, and she's a really good basketball player. They got in foul trouble, and a couple players had to set out some big minutes in the second and third quarter. That game might have been even better. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Sign me up, fellas.
And they knocked off Owsley County, but you better not rule out Owsley County, guys.
Listen, Owsley's there, but the problem Owsley's got, they ain't got no bench. They just got 5 starters, and they
Right.
listen when
They only have like
the
6 players total.
when that one girl transferred during the summer to Madison Southern, it took
Madison
all
Perry,
their it took them from being who would have probably been the favorite to be with Knott, and I'm a big Travis fan. He knows too that he has to develop more people, more bodies.
Yeah.
He's only got 6 people he can depend on, and the death hurts him when they get in foul trouble. You saw it against Breath County. They took advantage of them when they were in foul trouble. And, let's have to wait and see.
But I'll say this about them. Macy Brown's going to cost somebody fits in the first round down there. That young lady in the middle, somebody has to double team her, and even then she'll have a double-double. In girls basketball, that can be big.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be crazy. We're 5 weeks away from the start of district tournament play.
That's hard to believe.
It's crazy.
I know.
It's crazy.
And we're about 3 weeks away from probably the boys and girls state tournament draw. And we'll find out where everybody will be going. Let me ask you a question, Jamie. See if you've heard this. This was brought to my attention last week that the boys and girls state tournament is going to have a different format this year. The girls play first. Then there's going to be a week off. Then the boys are going to play the following week. And the reason why that's going to happen is there is some events happening at Rupp Arena that cannot be moved. Have you heard that?
No, I did not know that. That's news to me.
That's what I'm hearing, and I'm trying to get
heard it either.
I'm trying to get more information on it. What I'm hearing is the girls are going to play the first week. Then they're going to take a week off, and the boys will play. And I'm trying to find out. I've not had any good luck of finding out anything.
Is it because of the NCAA? Maybe
that could be. That might be the reason. I know they do have.
They're playing first round games there.
Yeah, that might be the reason why that the boys' Sweet 16s have been moved back a week. So we'll get some more information on that too.
Jamie, well be, fellas.
Yeah. I want to thank you for everything you do, and now you're going to be a permanent guest. I'm just going to say, well, I need a guest. There's Jamie. I'm just going to call. I'm just going to text him.
Fellas, we need to do this again because we never talked no college basketball.
No, we will next time,
guys. Anytime, and you guys again. I mean what I said. You both are good dudes.
Well, Jamie, can you come back next week? Because I need this spot filled for at least next week till Armando comes back. He's in Texas, so would you want to come back and we'll talk some more?
Yeah, Lord willing, we'll be happy anytime you need me. You just holler at me, okay?
I will send you another invitation for next week, and we'll do this again.
All
next
right,
week,
fellas,
Nathan's going to be with me next week, so you'll have a lot of fun with that.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, CJ, we didn't even we talked for 30 minutes and didn't talk wrestling either, CJ. You and
we'll
I
do that
one time. We'll do a whole hour's worth of that sometime.
We will do that next week. I promise. We'll talk about wrestling and we'll talk some college basketball, and we'll also try to do a top 5 in each region. So give the top 5 boys and girls teams in each region and talk some wrestling and a little college basketball.
All right,
but Jamie,
have a great day.
You have a good one, and I will see you next week then.
All right. God bless you, fellas.
God bless you too. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie Hughes, one of our hometown sports.
We never did get him back, did we?
No. But that was okay though. That's why his voice was more important than. I mean, we like to see him, but at least we got to hear him. Yeah. All right. I want to thank everybody that was on the left comments. I want to thank everybody watch the show. I want to thank the guests. Oh God, we had a great guest list tonight. Keith Baker, TG, the great Alan Feldhouse, excuse me, and then Jamie. I'll be back with you next Sunday night, February 26th, for another episode of the CJ Harris Show, episode number 19. Nathan Little is going to be my co-host. Jamie's going to be back with me, and I'm working on a couple of guests that I've not been able to get a hold of, but I'm going to try to call them, see if I can get them on the show next week. Looking forward to that as well. I want to let you know, go to Facebook. Once you get the CJ Harris Sports page, I want you to like it, and I want you to share it with everybody. Once you go to my YouTube page, I want you to follow me there and subscribe. You can see me. You can follow me on TikTok. TikTok is back, everybody. For
it came back today.
They're back today, but how long they'll be back, we do not know. But we'll hope they won't be gone again. And but again, Sanders, give me your final thoughts, and we'll get out of here.
Hey, we had a really good All-A tournament, both tournaments, and let's just hope that we can get some of them games in this week with this bad weather. And I hope everyone just, if you can't get out and go to the games, tune us in. You'll get updates from CJ and myself, and then Jamie at Hometown Sports Center and all these other areas as well. So. And I'm sure that may be some cancellations, so we'll just have to kind of stay on top of them and get them to you as we get them.
Yeah. Well, the weather as far as precipitation is not supposed to be that much until the end of the weekend, but it's supposed to be brutally cold. So, but our All-A representatives this week that's going down, Middlesboro girls play Owensboro girls. That will happen on Wednesday morning at 8:30. Crittenden County will play Martin County girls on 8 o'clock on the same night, and Whitefield County will play Knott County Central. That will be the last game of the first round for the girls. The boys play the next night.
They start.
Lyon
Thursday,
County plays Martin County. Yeah, they play Thursday. Martin County plays Lyon County at 8:30 in the morning. Then at 10 o'clock, Pineville will play Bishop Brosser. And then the game that everybody believes is probably the All-A state championship game, Greene County will take on Hazard. Now, this game is also not going to be played at the Owensboro Sports Arena due to the evening session of the boys. The sixth.
It's at Brescia College.
Brescia College.
Brescia, yeah.
I've never heard of it. First I've heard of it.
I remember because Lee's College used to play them.
Yeah, but this is the only round that will be there because there was something going on in the sports arena that couldn't be moved, and they couldn't play that round that night. So so that game will be played at Brescia University.
Yeah.
And then the Hazard was to win, they would stay at the sports arena there in Owensboro. So that's what the All-A teams are doing. We'll have an All-A champion next week. Again, congratulations. Harlan County on their 2A runner-up this afternoon, and we want to give out our prayers for Coach Haywood, for the young man from South Laurel. We want to also give our prayers out to my ex-wife's nephew Robert and the people in the wildfires out in LA, and anywhere. CJ, the people in North Carolina, they still, don't never forget them as well. I think that's it. Let me get back over here. Lost my train of thought. Anything else you want to say, Sanders?
I've enjoyed being back on with you. Anytime you need someone to help you with the show, just let me know.
10-4 Roger.
Sunday night.
I want to thank you again. I'll be back with you next Sunday night for another edition of the CJ Harris Show. This is CJ Harris, rounding third, heading for home. And as Casey would say, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for those stars. I love you all. God bless you, and good night.
Good night.